Alright, welcome back to Steve's Vintage Model Builds, and we've got a bit of a surprise kit review today. I got this yesterday. Amazon's contractor Intelcom delivered it to the wrong house, but I managed to retrieve it without any problems. So, and I wasn't going to review it right away, but you maybe can see there's a big dent here that I think came through from the back here. Big dent there, plastic's broken. So I'm hoping everything's okay and nothing's broken. And but that's the reason I'm gonna crack it open today and review it. I've been wanting a Blackbird for quite a while. You know, anybody who's interested in aircraft and plastic modeling, who wouldn't want one? As you know from watching this channel, others if you've joined us before, well, thanks for joining us again. Thanks to all my subscribers, and thanks to new people who might be joining in here. So I wanted to do that today. What I was trying to say there was that you'll know that, you know, I don't spend a lot of money on my kits. $50–$60 is about my limit, and the vintage kits fit right into that. It's not that I can't or won't spend the money on more expensive kits. It's just this way I get to accumulate more kits and build more kits without impacting my my hobby budget too much, or the budget for hobbies. If a more expensive kit comes along, if it's a subject I really want, then I have some flexibility to get it. But in this case, it was very reasonably priced. It is a Revell kit, so I'm not expecting perfection. But I went online to ScaleMates, I looked it up, and saw a couple of reviews, and saw a couple of reviews on YouTube. And, it overall looks pretty good. Some fit issues with the wings to the fuselage, which you'd expect from Revell. But in fairness, it's not that uncommon for model aircraft in general. So, okay, so let's take a look at it. So we've got the SR-71 Blackbird, brand new box, 2017. This was originally a Monogram model, and the tooling was done in 1984. So it fits right in with stuff I do on my channel. So again, the box, a nice big box, it's a big kit. 12 plus, level 4. I read recently that the Revell level numbers apply more to the number of parts than it does to the actual difficulty level. And I checked with them, and it does not indicate the level of frustration for the model. That's a joke. It gives you the scale. We've got the catalog number 855810, and on the back here, or on the one side here, we've got all the paints. It's Revell paints, of course. Few bullet points, accurate surface details. Includes GTD-21 surveillance drone with cart. We'll go into that more after. Decals with authentic U.S. Air Force markings. and it's molded in all black and clear. And because it's all black, I might choose this for the first model I used my airbrush on. So there you go. And then we've got details here on all the vital statistics, the features. 18.5 inches long, wingspan of 9.25 inches, 66 parts, decals are water slide. In metric, that's 47 centimeters with a 18 and a wingspan of 23.5 centimeters. A little note on the side here: after more than 28 years of active service, many of the features of this sinister-looking high-tech spy plane still remain shrouded in mystery. The spaceship-like creations achieve speeds in excess of Mach 3, that's 2,100 miles per hour, in the thin outer reaches of the atmosphere. She flew high and she flew fast. Like we're talking New York to LA in a couple hours. So, and this was, back in the 60s, in the 1960s. So we got a beautiful profile view here. It looks like of the completed model. And as far as the box art goes, it's not signed, but it looks like it was painted by human hand. All right, so let's get into it here. We'll take off the plastic, and hopefully we don't have any damage. Still working on the 2023 wrap-up and stash show. I think it's going to be in three parts: aircraft, groundcraft, and ships. I'm going to try and keep them so they're not too long. But I hope to have it out later this week. That's the week of the 11th. So that there's still time to order things in time for Christmas. Okay, so here we go. Nice top opening box. Got not taped. And this was manufactured by Lockheed Martin, which is now owned, unfortunately, by Boeing, but that's the way things go. And they have a date on the box here of 2021. So I'm hoping they have the new Revell instructions. Okay, all right, so here we've got a nice little bolster, protective piece of cardboard. So yeah, unfortunately, for the outer packaging, it just came in a regular flimsy plastic Amazon envelope. It didn't have any bubble wrap or even the paper envelopes they use that have padding and cushioning. It was which is probably why it got bashed up. So that's a full half point off for that and the smash box. We've got some blistering here. Some blistering there. Looks like there's a couple bent things, but there's nothing loose in the single bag. And we also have the clear pieces, of which, because of its nature, the SR-71 didn't have much of. Now, if you look up the SR-71, everything you read is going to tell you that it's retired. And don't believe everything you read. I have it on pretty good authority that there are still at least 2 that are in operational condition and are used from time to time for certain very specific missions. But they are officially retired. As mentioned before, it was Mach 3+. It was used for reconnaissance in the Cold War. And it flew higher and faster than anything ever, even the U-2s. And it was the first. I'm not going to say it was the first stealth aircraft, but it was the first aircraft designed with a significantly reduced radar cross section and special materials that again reduced its radar signature. It was so fast, especially at the time, it was so fast that even if it did get picked up on radar, nobody could do anything about it. It was there and gone before anything. So most of it all is still top secret. Everything from the materials to the cameras, etc., etc. And it's an incredible piece of aircraft engineering. Came out of Lockheed Skunk Works. First flew on December 22nd, 1964. And was officially introduced into the United States Air Force in January of 1966. So it was just a little over a year from the time it first flew till the time it was operationally ready. I think if you speak to any aircraft engineer from most countries, they'll tell you the SR-71 is probably the best aircraft ever built. But of course, these things are subjective, but yeah, there it is. Alright, and so Revell's notes say the most spectacular aircraft in the world today is, without a doubt, the SR-71 Blackbird. This was probably back in the 80s when it was still officially flying. It's the holder of the world absolute speed and altitude records, 2,193 miles per hour at 85,069 feet. This thing went to the stratosphere, almost into space. And it's the most advanced strategic reconnaissance vehicle ever designed. Blackbird is a product of the famous Skunk Works, Lockheed's Advanced Development Projects Group. The SR-71 design configuration is a modified tailless delta with a blended forward wing called a chine. The chine acts as a fixed canard to produce lift and decrease drag at cruising speed. The wing panels are noteworthy for their corrugated surfaces, which not only add strength and stability on the wing, but help dissipate heat as well. just as the space shuttle or any of the Apollo crew capsules re-entering the atmosphere, when you're at that speeds, even in very thin air, generates incredible amounts of heat. Vertical stabilizers are all moving surfaces, which are 2.5 times more effective than conventional rudders. The Blackbird is operated by a crew of 2, a pilot, and a reconnaissance systems officer. Power is provided by 2 Pratt & Whitney JT11D-20 engines, whose military designation is J58. Additionally, several aircraft in the Blackbird family were modified to carry the Lockheed D-21 drone on a pylon above the fuselage. And they include the little drone. There it is. As part of the kit. And you can mount it, or you can put it, they provide a cart, so you can put it on the cart beside it. Now, about the drone. Alright, it's been pointed out that for this particular model of the SR-71 that they've modeled, I don't know what to believe sometimes. One of the rivet counters came on and said that they never flew the drone with this because there was an accident with the drone before the SR-71 was completed, and so they canceled the program. So I haven't dived deep into enough to really know, but you know, if that's the case, then you know, build a drone and put it somewhere else. If you don't care that much about it, it looks really cool and it's kind of fun, and it's contemporary, even if it wasn't exactly part of the SR-71 program. Alright, so let's open up the bag and check out the insides. Alright, so here's the upper part of the fuselage and the wings. As you can see, there's nice detail there, panel lines, the corrugation. I'm not seeing any flash, so nice detail with vents there. And, oh, there's a tiny bit of flash there, but not going to ding them too much on that. So yeah, that looks good. Here's the parts for the drone. The intake nozzles, they're a little bit bent, but they're not off the sprue. And nothing's broken. Exhaust vents, and there's some nice detail inside the exhaust vents there. A little bit of flash, but not much. A lot less than I'd expect with a Revell kit, actually. There we go. And here it looks like the nose. Here's the cart for the drone. You get 2 pilot figures. They look okay. Looks like we might be missing an arm, though. We've got the figures don't have any arms. There's one arm here this guy has one arm, and there's one arm here. So I'll have to take a look and see if I can find the poor guy's other arm. Oh no, he has an arm too. It's just sitting down in his lap. So there you go. So we're good there. All right. And again, nothing broken off, nothing bent or damaged, and again, very little flash. Here's the lower part of the fuselage. This says copyright 1984, Revell Inc. All rights reserved. This would have been when Revell was still a U.S. company. As I said, originally a Monogram model. And of course, made in China. So, since this is so easily done, I'm going to check something here. To see how we're looking for fit. And looks like maybe a couple little issues, but again, a lot less than I'd expect from a Revell model. And, you know, it's certainly not unusual for an aircraft model to require some putty where the wings meet the fuselage and where the fuselage pieces go together. So, so the sprues get 2 points. There were those two pieces, the intake cones. They were kind of bent off the sprue, but they weren't broken or damaged. So full points there. The quality of the plastic looks great. Nice detail. There aren't any warped or broken parts. Decals. Get a nice set of decals. Playboy bunnies. Skunks. U.S. Air Force insignia. Mission notches. Panel line stuff. And all sorts of little tiny stencils. So it looks good. These are copyrighted 2004 Revell Monogram. They feel kind of papery, but you know, we'll just have to see. They look new, so they're not like, you know, it's not like they've been sitting around since 2004. Okay. And gonna try and keep this under 30-35 minutes, probably closer to 35. Okay, so we got 3 points for the parts. I'm not gonna ding them for that little bit of flash. These look like more updated Revell instructions, but not the new glossy type. So they've got this warning: read this before you begin. The usual stuff: carefully study assembly drawings. Each plastic part is identified by a number. parts indicated with a star indicate chrome or plated plastic. I don't think there's any of those in this. Advises to wash the parts for better paint and decal adhesion. Excuse me. Since this is already black and I'll be painting it black with the airbrush, I expect I won't use a primer on it. Oh, and I should mention too, this, I think the model costs about $38 Canadian, including tax. And I got no problem paying that. I mean, it looks like a nice little kit. It's a subject I want. Okay, and it goes down, use cement for polystyrene plastic. Dry fit before you cement. Just, you know, general little tips. And this is funny. Any unused parts may be discarded. If you're anything like me, you don't discard the unused parts. You keep them in the parts stash. And because you never know when you're going to need something. Okay, and so like I say, not glossy, but this is in their newer style format. They give you all the paints and the colors. And the codes. They indicate here if you're supposed to mix them. Here there's a 50-50 mix for the iron metallic and dark gray silk matte. So that's probably to, you know, to tone down the metallic, but still give it a metallic type finish. Gives you information on decals, how to do the decals. Everybody's decals are the same. You soak them in water for various lengths of time. And I'm going to bring some more light on here since we moved the shiny out of the way. There we go. And then we have the assembly instructions glossary legend. When to repeat assemblies. If you need to repeat several times. Optional parts with a question mark. When to apply the decals, which decal. Assemble with caution. Cement, da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's pretty standard stuff. It doesn't look like there's a sprue map, but they list each of the parts by number. So again, when you're going through the instructions, you want to review that so you have an idea what they're talking about when you see the parts. Drone nose probe, drone inlet spike, nose gear door, whatever the case may be. Okay. The cockpit looks nicely detailed in the instructions here. And there's a note, paint cockpit sides gray with black gauges and silver details. Paint panel gray with black gauges and silver details. So it tells you which is which. And something I saw that was really cool. I wish I'd made notes of these things, but there was one model review and build that I watched on this, and he used a really good technique. I'd like to say it's night shift. I think it was night shift. And so yeah, go look up night shift. He does great work. He does a lot of dioramas. So, but what he did was he painted everything white or gray, whichever you want, I guess. And he let it dry, really good dry. Then he painted it over with black, everything over top. And then what he did was he took very, very fine sandpaper. Sandpaper like this. What is this? I don't know. It's like 600, 800, whatever it is. And he just sanded off. He sanded off the black top part. So only the black top part got sanded off and highlighted the white. So that was really cool. Brilliant. So yeah, like with most aircraft models, it starts with assembling the cockpit, the seats, the figures. The figures here look very rudimentary, but actually the detail is pretty good. These were pressurized suits because of the nature of their flights, and they were designed in conjunction with the pressurized suits for the Mercury and, or sorry, it would have been the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. So there's not a lot of detail. There's not a lot of straps and belts on the exterior, and their faces are covered with visors, but still very respectable. Okay, so there you go. Instructions are very simple and straightforward. And then, there's installing the cockpit tub, the clear parts into the cockpit hatches, and I don't think they provide any masks, but there's only 4 windows, so not a big deal to mask those off. They've indicated here there's 2 parts you need to, or 2 areas you need to cut out, but this is only if you want to put the drone on top. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put the drone on its cart beside. So if you're not going to put the drone on top, you don't need to do that. Then you assemble the upper fuselage to the lower fuselage. The intake cones go in. The exhaust assembly. Excuse me. The rear of the aircraft, and then it goes into the rear stabilizer, whatever you want to call it. The rear stabilizers on each side of the engine nacelles. And as indicated, these would have actually completely rotated, not just the rear part would be completely rotated. Then we've got installation of the nose, landing gear. I think I'm going to put this in flight. I got those nice little stands, so hopefully it'll be good enough for those, or for this one. You can go through all the landing gear. You have the option open or close cockpit and how to do that. And we've got the final bits and pieces. This would be if you've selected to put the drone on top, which I'm not going to do, so we won't be doing that step. And then we have the assembly here of the cart and how to install the drone on the cart. At the back, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a flying needle. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so then we've got the decals here. It tells you where to put all the decals, all the little tiny ones. And that's the end of it. So actually, I'm pretty happy. That's pretty impressive in my book. Okay, so 2.75 on the instructions, and I took a quarter point off because there's nothing in color. Even though there's color on the box, it's black, but still. That's the way it is. I'm so mean. No bonus points for particular wow factors. Actually, yeah, I'm going to give a quarter point for the wow factor. Not only, you know, they've included the drone, and overall, it just looks like a really nice kit. So, a quarter bonus point for that, and half a point for value. It looks like it's, you know, not too complicated, and should build up nicely. And as I said, the reviews and builds that I saw both on ScaleMates and on YouTube seem to indicate that, you know, it's pretty good. So gonna go with that. Alright, so that gives us a solid 9 out of 12. And 9's a good score. You know, the biggest ding was on the packaging and the shipping packaging, which they really dropped the ball on and dropped the delivery on. That's not Revell's fault, but it does affect the overall kit. And also, I'm pretty disappointed that you know, it's a nice piece of box art. So it's kind of disappointing that that it's wrecked. Huh. But in any case, yeah. So 9 and a half a point for the value. Yeah, I'm pleased with that, and I'm excited to get building on it. Just to go back a little bit here, I don't know if you can see, both cockpit control panels are very detailed, and I mean highly detailed. So yeah, so that's it for this. I lied again. 40 minutes we're coming up to. And as I said, stay tuned for the end of year stash show, and I'll also be showing off completed builds. And it'll be 3 parts, and we'll have a live chat for each part. So hope everybody will join me. Thanks again to all my subscribers. Still adding subscribers, not as quickly as I was before, but you know, I'm not in this to get subscribers. I'm just glad that some people find what I do interesting enough. And oh, something come across from Zinzan Scale Modeling. Zinzan, as I've said before on this channel many times, he's a great guy, great modeler. He's a wizard with the small details. Shucks, he even builds his own wires for the engines on aircraft. And he just does beautiful work that way. Anyways, he has a friend, Terry. Terry runs a channel called the Hobby Barn in the UK. And unfortunately, Terry has taken, he's had some health problems for quite a while now. But he's in hospital now. And he's not getting good news from the doctors. So we all hope and pray that he can keep going and pull through, and our thoughts and prayers are with him. So to everyone out there, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and make yourself a little light and light up your little corner of the world. Dispel the darkness. So thanks again, and have a great day, everybody. Stay safe.